Okay, everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Golf Rules Questions podcast. My name's Rossco, your co-host, and joined by the golf rules guru himself. It's the one and only Blakey. You know him from Instagram. You know him from YouTube. If you've signed up to his newsletter, you know him from his newsletter. Blakey, welcome back to your own podcast. I always get a bit of a weird feeling welcoming you to what is essentially your podcast. How are you, sir?
Going really well, Rossco. Yes, it's 3 weeks out from Christmas. Hoping for some golf clubs under the Christmas tree.
Oh, really? What sort of like type of? No, let's not mention brand names. But what type of golf clubs would you be hoping for? Nice thin.
I want those sort of new design that you doesn't have a heel to it, or the ones that you anti-shankable.
The ones that will avoid the hosel at all costs.
Yeah, yes. That's an anti-hosel. That's it, not anti-heel.
Yeah, if you can make that golf club, you'd be hitting the jackpot in a certain segment of the market, because there's plenty of hosel rocket jockeys out there. But unfortunately, we're not here to talk about golf clubs, Blakey. We went off track there already. We're on track, and that's what we're trying to do with episode 20. Can you believe it? Episode 20. This week, we've got the golf rules questions of the week. The answer of the question from last week. We've got, you're about to embark on a massive golf journey for a great cause. So we'll talk a little bit about that and how important that is to you. And then we've got some tour embroglios, situations and scenarios from the tour. We'll play that. And we've got a young lady that's joined us with a listener question, one of your YouTube fans and followers. So young Helen's got a question. Do we have an Ivor? Not sure if we do have an Ivor. No Ivors, but I will dedicate a little bit of time to something related, not so much to an Ivor, but anyway, more around the Ivor type person, or someone of that stature. And we've got this week's golf rules question of the week to then ask. So, anything else from you before we dive right in?
No, let's smash it, Rossco. Out of the park.
Golf rules question of the week, last week from episode 19. The question was, and it sort of follows on the back of the previous question, but this question was, when could you legitimately drop your ball on a green?
Yes. So
legitimately dropping a ball on a green.
Yes. And so
not placing.
No. There is, let's say 6 times in the rules that you can legitimately drop your ball on the green, all for a penalty of 1. So there's no legitimate times when you can drop your ball on the green for free, but you can drop your ball on the green for a penalty of at least 1. Sorry, I should say at least 1. And they are, have you ever seen this?
No, I don't believe I have.
So under rule 16.1 and 16.2, which is taking penalty relief out of a bunker when your ball or you have interference with an abnormal course condition. Now, it's not going to happen that often, because the back on the line relief out of a bunker from an abnormal course condition means that part of the green would actually have to be back behind you. Now, the most famous green where this would happen would be, I'm going to get this wrong, the number wrong, but the golf course is Rivera in Los Angeles. I think it's hole number 16 with the donut green, where the bunker is right in the middle of the green. So if you had a ball in temporary water at Rivera, and the pin's on one side, you could actually drop your ball outside on the green for a penalty of 1 under rule 16.1. And then rule 16.2 is about dangerous animal relief. So say, let's just keep using this Rivera bunker because it's the easiest one to use. Say there's a snake in the bunker, then you could proceed under 16.2. From the dangerous animal condition, dropping back on line outside for a penalty of 1 shot. Then we go to penalty area, 17.1 and 17.2. And this one is actually quite common. We talked about the Australian Golf Club. I've actually been a referee when I've told the player that they could drop on the green on holes 3, on hole 3, and also on hole 7. It can happen there. And there's many other golf courses around the world that you can drop on the putting green when taking penalty relief from a penalty area.
7 at the Australian, the one with that sort of island green type scenario.
Yeah, it's sort of 50% surrounded by water.
Yeah,
and so if you hit the ball over the back, like straight over the back, and the pin's on the left-hand side, because it's a red penalty area, dropping within 2 club lengths actually gets you onto the green.
I'm not sure if I mentioned it last week, and the listeners will tell me if I did, but I think I may have cracked the gel coat on the sponsor's boat last year. If anyone's took ownership of that Whitley or whatever it was in the back of the 7th after the Australian Open last year, I may have cracked the gel coat when I bladed a 54-degree wedge into the back of it, straight over the top of that green. Anyway, I take no responsibility for parking a boat there at the back of that dam at Australia's biggest golf tournament. Why would you have a boat there? Anyway.
Well, it's perfectly legitimate for sponsorship opportunities. Yeah. Maybe we should get a boat at the back of our background bingo.
Won't see me with a boat in the back of the background bingo. Now, well, that's interesting. Interested to hear anyone's feedback on what they think about that. All the architect buffs out there, the donut hole there at Rivera. You've seen players chip across it and all of that sort of thing, which is absolutely, as you know, or as maybe you don't know, maybe some people don't know that it is possible to, use a lob wedge on the putting surface. It's not advisable. We're not saying that that's what you should go and do and start nipping up a 60-degree instead of putting if you've got the putting yips, but it actually is allowed. You've seen probably Shane Lowry do that with great effect at the US Open at Pebble Beach the other year, and so on and so forth. So it's an interesting hole and a donut in the middle of the green. It perplexes me every time I see it. But interesting one from a snake, public service announcement. If we had the public service announcement last week for my ridiculous sunburn, let's have a public service announcement for Australian golfers with snakes. I was at Peninsula Kingswood yesterday, bumped into one of the young fellas down there, and he showed me a picture of a snake on the practice facility, the chipping green. So beware of snakes on a golf course at this time of year, especially in Victoria. It's a little bit cold, so they go away, but then as soon as it gets hot, they come back out. It was a tiger snake, about a 5-foot tiger snake down there. So shout out to Harry Smiles on the board down there at Peninsula. He's a listener to the Golf Rules Questions podcast too, Blakey. So there you go. Nice.
Well, just finishing that off, also under rules 19.2 and 19.3. 19.2 is an unplayable ball. So in the situation that your ball was up a tree overhanging the green, then you could actually take a lateral relief drop within 2 club lengths of the spot directly below where the ball was up the tree. And if that was on part of the green, then you're dropping on the green. And then 19.3 is actually a 2-shot penalty out of a bunker. So again, going back to Riviera, you don't have a snake there. You don't have an abnormal course condition like temporary water. You just don't want to play it from the bunker. You can go back on a line, back outside the bunker for a 2-shot, 2-stroke penalty. So those are the situations, all under penalty of 1 or 2 shots. That for episode 19, GRQOTW.
Very good, because that is a rule that I don't think a whole vast range of people would know. I think there's a lot of golfers out there that wouldn't fully comprehend what you can and can't do out of that situation. So it's a good one. Certainly I didn't really fully embrace it. I was aware now that you talked to me about it, but yeah, that's a good rule.
Yeah, well, there'd definitely be a few penalty areas, certainly around where we live in Melbourne, that, do go really close to the green, and they're shaped oddly enough that if the pin's in a certain position, you could take lateral relief from the red penalty area and drop on the green.
Yep, absolutely. Now, once again, coming back to, my silliness of not protecting myself from the sun last week, it's pertinent that we start talking about something that you're very passionate about, and that's, you're passionate about a number of causes, Blakey, and you do a little bit of stuff for men's health, which is very, very, very important. But you will be participating in the longest day, which is a great initiative in the golf community that happens every year around this time of year, around December. And many golf courses now participate in that. It started with a few people in, I believe, Melbourne, and started playing 72 holes in a day. It's an insane amount of golf, but the people that now are on board doing it for a great cause, and that is for the Cancer Council. And you're involved, Blakey. So take us through why that is so, why you're so close to that and attached to that, and what you're actually doing.
Yeah, well, the Cancer Council, obviously, trying to stop cancer, I guess. Try and have a cancer. On their website, they've got a cancer-free world. So raising money for all the testing that they need to do and all the resources that they use up in doing so. So melanoma, as we know in Australia, and this is why you need to wear sunscreen, Rossco. Melanoma is a massive cause of death in Australia. So skin cancers. And we don't wish anyone to go through that kind of thing. So Joey Deaker and myself, my good friend Joey, we're going to put ourselves through at least 72 holes of golf at our home club, Birregurra Golf Course. So it's a 9-hole course, so we've got to play each hole at least 8 times. And I said to Joe yesterday, it's going to be a little bit tough when we get round 36 holes and we're shooting 88, and we've got to go another 36. Our team name is Can I Borrow Some Balls? So we'll definitely have plenty there. I think you go through the car park 4 times during a round. So, we'll be able to stop by and grab a few extra golf balls in case we've lost a few down the Barwon River. But it's a great cause, and we're doing it on the 21st, so it's just under 2 weeks, and it's one of the longest days. I think technically the 14th is the longest day, but the 21st is the summer solstice. So that was the original day when they all started this week. Joey and I are from Dunedin, and there used to be a competition in Dunedin called Horses for Courses, and this is back in the start of the 2000s, and the twilight in Dunedin is just a little bit longer, and they actually play 4 courses in one day, mainly in a 2-man Ambrose, and there's a bus that's arranged, and they'll start at 5:30 and they'll go from Belmac to Chisholm Park to St Clair to Tyree and finish up at Tyree at 9:30 at night, and it was allowed about 30 groups or whatever. It was a great thing, but we always thought, how cool would it be to play 72 holes in a day. So it's an ultimate test of golf, and Joey and I are just putting our hand up to try it and raise a little bit of money for Cancer Council.
Very good. Well, I'll be absolutely supporting you fiscally with a donation there, but I will also provide the golf balls to you, Blakey. I will sponsor the team. What's the team name again for everyone that wants to jump onto the website that is the longest day website with the Cancer Council? What's the team name that they can support you with?
Can I Borrow Some Balls?
Well, you won't have to borrow some balls because I will provide you the balls for the day, and that'll be my pleasure to be able to do that.
We've already had Andrew Miller donating, one of our stalwarts in the background bingo. So, thank you very much, Rossco.
The legend that is Andrew Miller and his weekly obsession with the background bingo, of which you can see if you are tuning into the YouTube, and please do that. It's a growing YouTube resource of all things rules. The subscribers are growing. It's great to see you getting some success and a lot more traction on the YouTube. But a couple of pictures there that everyone can look at for this week's background bingo, if they can deduce that. Andrew Miller. We may as well talk about it because
go for it.
going straight there. Well, what did he win last week? Did he get last week's right?
He did. He got yours, Barwon Heads, just from a clubhouse, and he got mine just this morning. He got mine yesterday. It was Oreti Sands. It's one of my favourite golf courses. It's the most southern course on the mainland of the South Island of New Zealand, and the unfortunate thing about it, I did put an asterisk to it, is that it's no longer a golf course. It's just paddocks.
Oh, really?
They couldn't afford the upkeep, which was really, really sad, because it was an absolute true links golf. You know, the trees, because of the wind that they get there, the trees were sideways, like the pine trees were bent over. Absolute true links golf course, and I loved it when I played there in the South Island stroke play about 16 years ago, but unfortunately it is no longer.
Is that down at Invercargill, or is that the
Yep, just out of Invercargill. So there's there's a few golf courses down there, but this is the one that's you can almost see the aluminium smelter down there. So
how many YouTube subscribers do we have to get to, Blakey, before we can take the Golf Rules Questions podcast on the road and go and visit these wonderful places? I want to go back to Dunedin. Dunedin, as any good Scot would know, is really means New Edinburgh. And, you know, I went there and had to stop and I was taking photos of buses, because like the number 22 to Musselburgh. Now, you only see that in Edinburgh or Dunedin. Little parts of the town called Leith. Now, Leith is where Golf Rules were drawn up. Leith is a suburb in Dunedin. So can we go? How many subscribers do we need to get to before we can take it on the road?
That's incredible. I just, you bringing back saying all these names has made me realise, how close it is. Because, there's Leith Street, which goes basically straight through the university, and the little stream that goes down there is the Leith River or Leith Creek, I think it is.
No. Well, if it is based on the body of water and taking its name from the body of water of the same name in Edinburgh, it'd be the Water of Leith.
Well, they wouldn't go that technical, but really? It's definitely Leith something.
Well, the Water of Leith is a famous little creek that runs basically through the whole guts of Edinburgh and comes out at the harbour there, and it runs just by where the rules were penned in 1744 on Leith Links.
Wow.
That's, as it says in the intro, by that old Tom Morris's long-distance cousin, the founder of golf in that area. 1744. I'm not getting that wrong again. But yeah, anyway, we should do that. Dunedin.
I think 10,000. Oh, 10, you're right. You are absolutely spot on.
Thank you very much.
It's called the Water of Leith in Dunedin.
Well, they wouldn't call the bus, the number 22 to Musselburgh and not call it the Water of Leith either. So there you go. I would love to go to and see that part. Your part of the world.
We're gonna get to 10,000. We're at 3,000 at the moment. 10,000. I think if we get to 5,000, we're going on the road around Victoria, and if we get to 10,000, we're going to New Zealand.
Okay, and then the next challenge is after that
100,000 to the UK.
Oh, I don't think we need to wait that long. I don't need to wait that long to go to 100,000 to go to the UK. So we do Dunedin, and then we do my part of the world. We do Edinburgh.
Okay,
that's the deal.
Dunedin and Queenstown, of course.
Victoria, Dunedin, and the other courses of Otago, the Great Region.
Yeah,
and then Scotland's Gulf Coast, which is East Lothian, which is my part of the world. There you go. Okay, good. Next, we've got a listener question. Let's bring up the listener question from last week's episode, and a young lady. And we encourage all young ladies, to get into golf. It's a wonderful sport for young ladies of any age and situation, whatever way you want to describe that. But girls into golf is a great thing. You were going to say?
Yeah, it's a great way to meet people. And if you're single, possibly a partner. Okay,
well, the person that comes up with dating on a golf course, boys and girls, is a very smart man. Actually, Ollie Neve in Sydney, who works at the Moore Park driving range, he has more coaching clients in Sydney than anyone, and so many young girls that he's coaching up there. I reckon that's a great idea for Ollie. He could be the one doing dating on a golf course. But yeah, Thank you very much for Helen. Your question is coming right up now.
Hey Blakey, hey Rossco. You mentioned point of maximum available relief last week. What does this mean and when is it applied?
Wonderful question, Helen. Blakey, I throw straight back to you. Point of maximum relief, when is it applied?
Yeah, so point of maximum available relief is for bunkers and putting greens. It's when the bunker is full of an abnormal course condition or full of, the most common one would be temporary water. And you can either take free relief in the bunker, but when taking free relief under 16.1, you got to take complete relief. However, there's going to be some situations in the bunker, say, where it's sloped in on the side, where you can't take complete relief. And so this is where point of maximum available relief comes in. So we're not going to penalize you if you take relief and then you're still standing in it, or your ball is in slightly less amount of water. We're not going to penalize you because you couldn't take complete relief due to the circumstances, due to the conditions. So you can still take your free relief, and if you still got some kind of interference with that condition, you're okay, as long as you try and find the point of maximum available relief and then drop within the club length there. As we talked about at the start of the show, if you want to go outside the bunker, back on the line for a penalty of 1, you can do so. Now, the other situation is on the putting green. And again, it might be a situation where there's a creek of water running down the green. Play hasn't quite been suspended yet. And so you want to take relief from that sort of creek of water to another point, your nearest point of complete relief, but there is no nearest point of complete relief. The whole green is basically got some parts of water touching it. Now, remembering that interference on your line of play does apply when your ball is on the putting green. So you work your way around in an arc and you think, okay, this has still got a little bit of water on this line, but it's gonna do me. It's my best option. And that would be considered your point of a maximum available relief. So you still got interference from the condition, but due to the circumstances, as I said, this is your best place to, and with the putting green, you'd be placing it. With the bunker, you'd be dropping it. But this is the best place to place my ball, even though I still have a little bit of interference. That's for point of maximum available relief. Thank you very much, Helen.
Helen, thank you very much. We hope that helps you out when you are facing that situation. Now, a couple of rules, scenarios, situations, imbroglios from the tour. We'll crack straight into that, yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the first one is Tony Finau.
Now, they were down at the Mayakoba.
So that was just last weekend's tour event, Mayakoba.
Yeah.
Who won that? One of the young guns.
Victor, and that Rocket said that Victor wouldn't win again because he won the New Orleans or something, didn't he?
The curse is broken. That's exactly right. But what a great young man, Victor Hovland is. What a personable young fella.
He's going to win many more times.
Let's play this up.
Away now. You see the numbers 2 of 8.
And it all started on Thursday on the driving range. He was hitting it good, but it was strong left to right, missed the first fairway left, and the confidence has been eroded. Last 4 fairways he's missed has been left as well. Important tee shot. Oh boy, this is well left.
Gotta be careful over the,
yeah, left of the cart path is just no good.
We have seen a few unexpectedly fine golf balls in there, be able to play, but that's deep. That's really thick jungle.
That's exactly what he did in the
TF on it. First one's got an S.
See where that lands.
It's what he did in the first round with the 3-wood as well. Land on the path and went in the jungle.
And we'll see. Provisional.
Got to get some trust here somewhere.
Yeah, he's trying to hit a little squeeze cut.
And it's not cutting, but it's probably going to find the left rough.
And I know he's got a short backswing, but it still looks a little quick in transition to me. Now it'll really get the club set.
Drop to 12. Finau, Perksy, can you update us?
Yeah, they have found the ball. Nelly, unfortunately. Very few options. Got to take an unplayable.
At 12, am I right here? A free drop for Finau?
Yeah, what a break. The ball was embedded. I talked to Rico Pearson, the rules official. Took the 2 club links and advanced it out there into incredible break.
That's a big time break. Wow.
Yeah, that was extremely lucky, because if he'd had to take an unplayable and still have to pitch out, would rather have just played his provisional, but since he got the free drop.
Okay, so we've listened to the full gamut of Tony Finau's situation there. He plays absolute shocker, hits it way left. It's in the deep Kagari, and not very nice, but walks up there, and lo and behold, he gets and not as Craig Perks said, not a 2 club length relief or 1 club length relief, gets relief free. It was in the next. It wasn't even in the same republic. It was that far left.
Yeah, it was really interesting too, because it looked like quite a sandy-based course. And if your ball was embedded in the rough or fairway there from the previous stroke, then you are permitted to take free relief, but not if it's embedded in sand in the rough. However, the referee was there and they believed that it wasn't sand, so it was dirt. And the player was able to take free relief within that 1 club length, as you said, Rossco.
So not sand.
Not
dirt.
Sand. It has to be dirt. Now, this is an argument for every referee out there, but does grass grow in pure sand?
Yeah, good question. I'm not the agronomist. I'm not the agronomist here.
If you're going to say no, which I would lean towards,
yeah, well, not
in pure sand, then there would be no grass around, and you could take that as being that your ball was embedded in pure sand. But if there is a bit of grass around, you'd say, okay, grass doesn't grow in sand, so there has to be some kind of dirt here.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, it's probably a relevant rule for the people that play in this area. If you can looking on the YouTube and you see my hat, I got the nice little Sandbelt logo on this hat. Might give this hat away. If anyone wants to chime in with a question, I can give this hat away. I've got a couple more too, actually. If anyone wants to you can work out a little competition there, Blakey. But
they can donate to the longest day. That's what they can do.
The first three people that donate and say that they've donated to Blakey's longest day. What's the name again of the team?
Can I borrow some balls?
Can I borrow some balls? The first 3 people and say donating from the podcast. First 3 people will get one of these Sandbell hats. Now, a very relevant thing for the people of the Sandbelt to know that there's a lot of sand, obviously, under the tea tree and whatever else. So basically, you're saying if there's some other organic material growing in and around that area, i.e., grass or vegetation, and your ball is embedded, even though it might look like sand, you may be entitled to free relief. Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty much the easiest way, and I understand that we're going to have a few circumspect about that, but. That'll be the easiest way. It has to be in dirt, can't be in sand, and I can only say that grass doesn't grow in pure sand.
Yeah. So does that come back to the 95% certainty sort of type of scenario?
Yeah, absolutely. You can always apply that 95% virtual certainty to those situations. I mean, this one's more under the reasonable action and playing under that integrity and honesty. I truly believe that my ball was embedded in dirt rather than in sand.
Very good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Another fine young golfer. Probably, I think, might be one of the longest hitters kicking about. Just 2 big boys this morning, Tony Finau and Niemann. Let's have a look at what he got into.
Who's missed just 7 fairways on the week.
One more.
And Niemann just clearing traffic ahead. He will put a provisional in play and then hope that the first one is playable. So let's get you back down to the 12th tee where Niemann will do it once more.
So Niemann hit one into the jungle off the tee here at 12. So provisional, Perksy.
Yeah, he pulled that tee shot and it landed on the cart path, as you all saw. He likes to hit the cut. And that's what he wanted.
Don't know if they're going to find that first. That took off after hitting the cart path. Search for Niemann's golf ball at 12 continues.
Well, you look in the dictionary under jungle, and this is exactly what you got. It's deep in there, and I'm not even sure you really want to find it with the provisional in the center of the fairway. Just accept this is a lost ball and move on.
Yeah, this might be one of those where take a peek and see if it's in an area where you might be able to play it, and then call everybody out of there.
3 minutes might help here, Justin.
Spotted a golf ball.
Yeah, I mean, you got the blue line, but you get to the inside. If I move, mark it. Sure, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Put it back. All right. Thank you. You're welcome.
That's it, but.
Yeah. Oh, you want to go out this way? Yeah, I think we're going that way. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate.
You might be able to try and just hit it out sideways.
Rico, the Rich Pearson, the rules official, got some good eyes. He was the one, I believe, that spotted it first.
Some surgery going on there in the left gunch.
He has a clear pathway to the fairway, but obviously this is all about contact.
Tough to tell, Percy. Can he take the club back there? Is there that tree behind him? Or
from my vantage point, I think he can make a backswing, at least enough that he can get some momentum on the club. Advance the ball is 35 yards from the fairway as he pitches out sideways.
Be careful what you take away, or try to. Backwards cap. I got it out.
Yeah, he did.
Not entirely to the fairway, but it seems to be sitting up. So a good find in there. Fortunate to get to that ball.
Okay, so Wahi, Niemann, and all sorts of Kagari there.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one and brought up a few little rules situations there. Firstly, when announcing a provisional ball, Joaquin said, I'm just going to hit another ball, guys, just in case. Now, saying I'm just going to hit another one is not a valid way to announce a provisional ball, but the interpretations do allow for someone to add the phrase just in case it's lost, basically. So it's a provisional ball, just in case. And that was permitted, and actually great to catch that on camera and have it as an example for everyone to listen to. So that was number one. Then they did find it. They found it within the 3 minutes. And he wasn't quite sure whether it was his ball. He went to touch it, move it, and the referee just quickly said, you better mark it first. Put a tee down, marked it. You have to do this. You're allowed to try and identify your ball, but you've got to mark it first. So he marked it and then lifted it. Yeah, it was his ball, so you just replace it. And then lastly, he was moving leaves and branches and stuff, all loose impediments, all permitted to be moved, but he just has to be careful not to cause his ball to move. Otherwise, he's going to incur the penalty of one stroke and the ball would need to be replaced. So a few little situations there for the rules boffins like me to enjoy, but everything was done correctly.
The very relevant rules, very relevant situations to explain to, especially the listeners that are newer to competition and club competitions, Saturdays, Wednesdays, whenever you do play a comp, because I do notice that and have noticed it in the golf journey, which is many, many more years than your golf journey. That people don't announce a provisional ball and tell you I'm going to hit a provisional. So you do have to do that correctly and effectively. The time limit, we've talked about that, 3 minutes, he had the benefit of cameras and rules officials up there looking for it. But the other one is marking the ball when you go to identify your ball. Now, if you've played any form of sort of pennant, district, any of those types of levels of competition, well, you're very familiar with that. But, really, I think a lot of club golfers just will walk in, pick the ball up, and they won't try and obviously do it with a way of an intent of improving the lie, but they will pick it up, move it around, going, yeah, that's it. But you do have to mark it. You do have to mark that if you want to play with the full integrity and play by the rules. And then obviously the surgery that they referred to there in the commentary, just be really careful when you're moving sticks, and you can't pull out embedded stones. Unfortunately, if you've got your new, blades, the shankless blades that Blakey wants on his Christmas trees, if there's an embedded ball behind your embedded stone behind your ball, you can't move it. You can move a loose one sitting on top, but if it's embedded and you're going to damage your club, well, then you've got to take another action. So you can't pick a stone out of the dirt.
Yeah, spot on. So no, it's a really good one, and we see it on tour, but a lot of those rules applied, every time that we play. So there's nothing unusual there for your club golfer on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Saturday.
That is correct. Now, no IVORs this week.
No, and I've run with your interpretation. No, not interpretation. Your pronunciation of Joaquin Niemann. So I'm hoping that you're spot on with that.
I didn't say Joaquin.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Well, we're gonna have to run back over it.
I said Waheen.
Oh, Waheen.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was already going to catch you out there. I was waiting for that to come up next week, but you've already called yourself on it. It's Joaquin. It's not Joaquin. It's Waheen.
Waheen.
That's what. Anyway, prove me wrong.
It sounds the same to me.
Prove me wrong. But no, Ivor Robson, the Ivor's based around Ivor, our listener, and Ivor Robson, but just failed to Peter Ellis, who passed away this week, one of the great orators of the game. Certainly someone that I grew up listening to, playing golf, thinking about playing in the Open, dreaming about playing in the Open, dreaming about seeing an Open course, any of those sorts of tournaments. When you're a young fella, you always had the voice of Peter Ellis in your ears. And Ivor Robson, a great orator, but Peter Ellis, in a commentary sense, was certainly one of the great commentators of the game and influenced a lot of people, certainly in his profession, passed away this week. So Vale, Peter Ellis. Now, this week's golf rules question of the week, Blakey. It's a good one. It's a long one.
Yeah, you got to say it exactly how it's written too.
Okay, well, I will do that. Are you ready?
I am ready.
You lie a club down for the sole purpose to determine the relief area. You then drop a ball and it bounces into your club before coming to rest outside the relief area. Is your next drop counted as your first drop or a redrop?
Very good, Rossco.
I'll repeat, because it's a long one. You lie a club down for the sole purpose to determine the relief area. So you put your club down to measure the distance, right?
Yeah, measure. Yep, that's right.
Yep. You then drop a ball and it bounces into your club. So you take a drop from the knee height, it bounces into your club before coming to rest outside the relief area. So it's going to roll, it's stopped the ball. Is your next drop counted as your first drop or a redrop? That's a good question.
Great.
It's a good question.
Well, they'll have to listen into episode 21. We had I should shout out to the people that do. We have, some familiar names answer all my golf rules questions of the week. David Grieve, Fraser Nichol, Lance Parker, Jerry Bauer, of course. I've got a fair few coming and going there. So constant support from those familiar names, which I really appreciate.
All part of the global, and they are from different parts. They're not Australians, all of them, but all part of the global golf rules fraternity and the growing golf rules fraternity, which you are very much part of. And I guess one of the young future and bright stars of golf rules, Blakey.
Thanks, Roscoe.
No worries. I'll chum you up anytime, mate, especially if it's going to get you to 5,000 YouTube followers and then 10,000, and we take this on the road.
10,000 going to Dunedin.
Choice, bro. Now, I think that's it.
That's it. That's very good.
Well done.
Nicely wrapped up package.
No problems. Well, thanks for joining us. Please, all of the feedback is wonderful. It makes us want to do it again. All of your engagement, love that on the YouTube and all those other Instagrams. And sign up for the newsletter. Blakey's putting a lot more effort into his newsletter, and he's going to start punching out those. And if I say it, he will do it. So sign up to the newsletter on his website there, do all of that sort of great stuff. And but more importantly for right now, if you wanted to do something that was really great, jump onto the Cancer Council, and we'll put the links in the show note, and donate to Blakey's team. What's your team called again, Blakey?
Can I borrow some balls? Joey and I.
Joey and yourself, well done, Joey from Dunedin. And if you are one of the first 3 people that donate and you mention the podcast, you get one of these hats. Background bingo. We forgot background bingo. Have a look at these 2 pictures. I just want to say a shout out to a friend of mine, a great photographer, great young content creator from Adelaide, Stuart Kerr. Another fine Scotsman. Stuart Kerr is a great young man. He's been stuck in Adelaide through COVID. He should have been traveling the world for photographing and making content all around the world, but he's been stuck in Adelaide doing some work. But he did head over to the Sandbelt last year. So there's a hint for this picture. I want the holes too.
Oh, that's a tough one. Now, for me, there's an easy one for me. Everyone should get this one. Just think I've got 2 weeks. I'm competing, trying to complete 72 holes of golf.
Okay. Pretty easy. All right, mate. Well done. Thanks. We'll see you next week.
See you guys. Thank you.